Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas with Rob Hankins from Arts in Stark. So you've got a campaign going. We need to support this incredible effort that you've got going. Tell us all about it.
So let's put this in sort of my perspective. Whenever we tell people we're going out, like we are this year, to raise $1,660,000 in 10 weeks, their mind is so unused to hearing this. They go, oh, that's a capital campaign, right? You couldn't be raising this kind of money for the arts every year. So there are 1,600 communities in America that raise money through the United Way for social services. 1,600. There are 40 that use the same model to raise it for the arts. North Carolina has the most. I think there are 5 United Arts Campaigns is what they're called. That's what our annual arts campaign is.
Yes.
But Ohio is second. We have 3 communities in Ohio that in the spring each year they go out and raise money for all the arts.
So of all the 40, 3 of them are right here in Ohio?
Yeah, and that's
pretty
Dayton,
cool.
us, and Cincinnati.
Yes. Wow.
So Mark Sterling, who's the CEO of Beaver Excavating, is chairing the campaign, and we're going into the 3rd week, and we've raised about $250,000. And by May the 16th, because we never extend, we always end when we say we're going to have raised, and the last 3 days are very dramatic, $1,660,000.
Every year.
To do this stuff we're talking about.
Yes.
63% goes out to support the 7 major arts groups. Then after that, you can break it down into blocks of 6 to 9% that go to support a cultural center, the Arts in the Schools program, revitalizing downtown through the arts, marketing. One of the reasons we are the best kept secret is because people don't realize how great the stuff is. So some people think we're just raising money for Arts in Stark. No. This is a United Arts Fund drive. Most all the money we raise goes right out the door. When people ask us what our overhead is, it's 9 cents on the dollar, so 91 cents of every dollar people give us goes right out the door to support the stuff we're talking about today.
And it goes right back into the community. That's right. Yeah, it just takes a little detour through your office.
Well,
it goes right back into
it's similar to what United Ways do for social services, but this is just done for arts, and I might add innovation, creativity, creating genius-like kids.
Which is also a social service. So you mentioned how many of the different arts areas are doing special kinds of programs, like for the blind and so forth.
Yeah.
It is pretty amazing. Let's talk about where it breaks down. People might not. Somebody might be brand new in town, and they say they've got a theater. Yes, we've got Players Guild.
Okay, so let's start by talking about the 7 major arts groups.
Yes,
we have 2. Well, some people don't realize this. We have 7 major arts organizations. What does major mean? Well, their budgets are of a certain size. So 2 of them are museums, the Canton Museum of Art and the Massillon Museum. I sort of run into people that know one or the other, but they don't know both. Boy, they're both fabulous, and they're both doing great things. The Mass Museum right now is finishing up a $5 million capital campaign. They bought all the buildings surrounding them in downtown Massillon on the block, and they do original shows and shows that tour the country all the time. The Canton Museum of Art, of course, has these massive galleries. We did Kimono there 10 years ago, St. John's Bible. You just mentioned a show was there, Intent to Deceive. So you can you can go or take your kids to see amazing art in this county. We have a symphony orchestra, second only maybe, I'm joking, to the Cleveland Symphony. Fabulous. If you have the best musical in the world, best musical ear in the world, you could probably sit at the Canton Symphony and close your eyes and say, "Oh, this is not the Cleveland Symphony." But if you're a regular person,
it's pretty spectacular.
You're just going to go, how can this?
And can I pause you right there for the neat things that they're trying, like bringing pop culture to our symphony, to be doing a night of Led Zeppelin, for example.
Pops concerts now and classical music concerts.
Yes, they did the Beatles last year.
They're performing at all the local libraries. They're performing in Stark Parks. They're everywhere. The Palace Theater, the last of the 4 great movie houses in downtown Canton, doing movies and live shows and performances. One of their groups to perform there, of course, is the Canton Ballet.
Right.
In fact, their spring show is coming up. People are familiar with the Nutcracker, but the spring show is just always amazing and entertaining. Voices of Canton, we sort of already talked about. They do believe that singing brings us all together, keeps us young, and helps us when we start to lose our memory. Now I have to pause for a minute to make sure. Have I forgotten anyone? That's 7. Have I talked about all 7?
I think you've hit the 7. Did you hit Maslin Museum?
Yeah, we talked about 2 great museums.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't realize that. So the first 1,100,000 roughly goes to those 7 groups. And then after that, all the other stuff we've talked about. But if you haven't been to the Art Spot Gallery in Minerva, if you haven't been to the Gallery in Canton, if you haven't been to the Troll, people always laugh about this because they don't have any idea what the largest collection of trolls in the world at the Troll Museum. And I was saying to people, there's only one thing in this one tourist attraction in this county. Well, what tourist attraction in this county gets the most press regionally and internationally, would you say?
Probably, I'm going to guess the Football Hall of Fame.
Yes. And would you believe the attraction that gets the second most?
Are you going to tell me the Troll?
Troll Museum.
Are you kidding?
The media, because it's so different and so creative, the media has fallen in love with the Troll Museum in downtown Alliance.
Wasn't there a cat museum out there as well?
You know, Alliance is sitting on a gold mine. It's not quite there yet. Because, got to do, but Alliance currently downtown, and this is not the Strip, which is great, State Street. This is the old downtown, has the only cat museum in America and the Troll Hole Museum.
All there.
Canal Fulton, Hartville, all these places, things are happening. And we are either supporting them in their schools or through grants or in some way because we are trying with all our heart to be arts in Stark.
And when you think about it, what is art not involved with? I mean, everything has a point of where there's something artistic, there's some point of creativity, there's some kind of a spark. Every new innovation, there's something artistic about it. And so you are supporting all of that, and it's amazing. Tell me about the healing tree that also has been traveling across Stark County.
So last summer, Stark Mental Health and Addiction Recovery, came to us and said, could we do a public art project around drug addiction and how people heal themselves? And so Michelle Walkus, who's one of our most outstanding artists, agreed to tackle it. So she created a tree. Have you seen the tree?
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
So it was meant to travel. So it's kind of unsubstantial. So she created this trunk, and then people can take silver paper and write, I call them blessings on it, and then they're tied to the tree. And it did a tour last summer of Massillon and Alliance and Canton, and now it's permanently housed in the Alliance Library in downtown Alliance. But the thing that was, and you've seen it, I'll let you comment in a minute, the thing that I think amazed all of us, including Michelle and Stark Mar and everyone, was that not only did people who were recovering come and write a leaf out talking about it's not easy. We can open our newspaper and we know it's easy. Yeah, it's almost impossible to get off an addiction like this. And then there were people who were family members who said, and then there were people that weren't any of this. They just wrote blessings. You can do this. We're rooting for you. Remember, and there were a lot of religious comments, God loves you. God is going to make this happen. So the power, once again, of an arts initiative and a social service initiative, let's help people know we're rooting for their success, was amazing.
First Friday has got to be one of the coolest things that's ever happened. It makes me feel like our whole town becomes a college campus and everyone is at one big street party. And it is an amazing thing. Every single time we go, I find something I didn't know we had before. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, the last thing you said is most important. Some people go to First Fridays and they just go to their favorite restaurant and eat out and go home. I say, other people explore. There are things in the Arts District. If you have not been to Just Imagine. Are you nodding? Like
I am, because I've been in there, yes.
So Stark DD developed a gallery where their clients make art and crafts projects in the back and they sell them in the front. Amazing. If you haven't been to let me see. I want to go next to Colette's Vintage Clothing. I'm doing all the stuff on 6th Street first, around the corner from the Palace Theater.
I love that. Clothing as art.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
There's a new art shop that opened called The Local, and it just has like 40 tables with arts and crafts by local artists on it. They teach classes. We'll talk about 6th Street and 4th Street. Then on 6th Street, there's the yoga shop where you can take yoga classes. I just stopped in there this afternoon. John Boy has a glass blowing factory there, across from the Oracle Music Club in the ComQuest building. It's only open when he's blowing glass. He doesn't sell it. He makes it. The Hub.
Always cool. Tim Carmody.
Totally run by artists.
Yes.
Arrowhead is there. And something there. There is a. Have you been to Ja?
I have not been to Ja.
Okay, so there's a reason for that. First of all, it's people think it's a bakery, but Ja is a pastry gallery. It makes one-of-a-kind breads, pies, and pastries. It's next to the Saxton Gallery.
My favorite, yes.
It's between Saxton and Arrowhead.
Okay.
On the corner of 6th and Cleveland. It's only open Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays from 11 to 2.
Oh, my.
Because Letitia Cullen, who runs the place, is baking. But if you want to get a treat or a pie or a cake that feels like a piece of art you're eating,
oh my goodness,
you go to Ja.
I love the way that's described. All right, I know, Rob. I knew our time was going to just fly by. We could talk forever. Tell us how to give to the campaign, and you got to come back soon.
So very nice. So you could call 453-1075 and say, "Oh, I heard Rob and I heard Susie, and I want to give some bucks." You could go to artsandstark.com/donate. And we'd love to have you do that, but the single most important thing you can do to change your life is just go to artsandstark.com and click on I want to receive the e-blast, because people don't know what's happening here. And then every Friday, if you just go to artsandstark.com and click on I want to get the e-blast, every Friday you will get 5 things to do this weekend all across Stark County that you weren't even aware of.
Very cool. Art changes lives, doesn't it?
Art does.
Rob Hankins from Arts and Stark, thanks so much for all you do in our community.
Thank you.